I've dated a couple guys that weren't in the church, and because like I don't know, I like to base people off whether they're a good person or not, and that's who I kind of surround myself with, whether they're necessarily in the religion or not. But yeah, so I've dated a couple, but I found that since I'm very oriented in like where I want to go in my life and stuff, it has never like turned into a long-term thing. Like it's fun, get to know them, and like just kind of like end up being friends rather than actually working towards a future just because our end goals are different. Still think they're great people, but that's just been my experience.
Okay. All right, no worries. No, I know a lot of girls personally that they really want to date a guy. They want to marry a LDS member. Um, and they don't. And then the guys, the guy out of these, so the guys, there's a limited options in the guy in the ward or in the church, and uh, and they struggle all the time because they're just trying to dating the same guys over and over and over. And I was telling them, like, why don't go outside? There's so many there's so many fish in the sea. But I know personally some guys and girls like they're just like, no, I just want to date. But even though they're not running into like good experiences. I was like, man, why don't you just try out one time? But they're just stuck in that mentality. Um,
That's interesting.
Amelia, go ahead, Alexis.
Oh,
Go ahead.
okay.
You want to say?
Amelia, it was gonna be right after me. It's funny. I actually started the opposite way. I was like, I don't want to date in the church. I really want to date outside of the church. So I started with that, and I liked one guy for a long time, and he was older than me. He was like 7 years older than me, and I liked him for a really long time. And he used to be a member, was no longer a member. But we never like actually dated. But I'd say the first one was also a couple years older than me. He was from freshman year of college, and and like it did not last very long at all because he was like pot smoker, cigarette smoker, had no like standard for himself,
Oh,
no
gotcha.
like drive, no like lacking all of the morals that I was just so used to and surrounded by in church settings that I was like, oh, like that's completely gone. And then there was one moment that I was like, I really want to be able to have family home evening with someone, and read scriptures with this person and have that spiritual aspect, this huge chunk of my life that was completely gone if I was dating outside of the church. And so it was between him and this other guy in the LDS church. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try LDS. I went LDS and I got one of the two guys that we had talked about earlier. And I got the one that was like using the church against me. And it was funny because I suddenly went from being too good. I was too good for someone. Like I wouldn't sleep with him. I was too goody two shoes to being too bad. Right. I would watch rated R movies and I was too bad for them. And so that was just really weird for a long time. I was like, what is up with this? So yeah, but then I moved into the better sector of LDS dating, and found out I was just like, oh, I just could never go back even if I wanted to. It's not like they're bad people. It's just like those foundational, those core things of like, you
Oh,
have to have like respect for yourself. And I'm like, and I'm not saying that people that aren't in the religion don't, but like the standard for drinking and for drugs and for hookup culture and all of those little things just get checked off when they're actually LDS, because some people could say that they are and they're not. So that was just a huge thing. It's like I really want a spiritual basis, and that helped me a lot to keep my standard high for men.
okay. All right. No worries. Thank you, Alexis, for sharing that. What's your thoughts, Amelia?
Amelia.
Yeah, so I've had both good and bad experiences with both members and non-members in my
Yeah.
dating life. When I was in my teens, I only dated non-members, mostly because like I wanted to date, but the dating pool of members where I lived, where I grew up, there weren't many guys who were members or that I was interested in. So I had some non-member boyfriends, one was a really not good guy, the other was a really great guy. And then I went on my mission, so then obviously wasn't dating anyone then. And I remember on my mission, I thought, okay, when I get home, I'm never gonna date a non-member again because like my overarching goal is to go to the temple. And obviously I can't really like do that, and I don't want to date someone with the expectation that they'll convert because that's like you don't want to date someone with the expectation that they're going to change. You want to
Yeah.
date someone if you're ready for them there. So I was like, okay, I'm not dating any more non-members. So then I come home from my mission, I go on dates, I date members of the church, and it's good. Like I meet some good people, I meet some bad people, all these different experiences. And then I met my now boyfriend, Jay. And when I met him at the time, he wasn't a member of the church. And and so for a while, I was very hesitant. I liked him, but I was like, no, like let's just be friends. Sorry. And I was in my head, I was like, I can't date him. I need to find someone else. I need to find um, a priesthood holder, a member of the church who I can go to the temple with, because that was still my goal. Um, so yeah, I put off dating him for a long time until one day I had just come off from a date with another guy, and after the date I was like, I just I just really want to hang out with Jaden right now, and I realized that I really did love him, and I was like, I don't think that I should, have the church be holding me back from, or like my personal standard of dating should hold me back. So I started dating him, and then he actually ended up joining the church. Long story short, he joined the church, and so we were kind of working with that together. And yeah, we're still dating now. He's same as me. He's no longer a member of the church, but it was just really nice to kind of see all these different things, all these different decisions shape how my relationship now ended up to be. Oh, and one more thing. I realized when I was dating him, I think there's a lot of really great things that guys who are members of the church have. Just like there's good and bad for every type of person. But I remember when I was dating my boyfriend, I remember thinking one day like, man, I'm really glad that he didn't grow up in the church, because I feel like some of his views on like sexuality and things wouldn't be very healthy. Because I don't know, that's just kind of how I feel like. I feel like the church isn't super healthy in teaching about sexuality. So I remember being like glad he wasn't a member. But at the time, I was glad that he converted, because I was like, okay, now we could get married in a temple. But yeah, so I think for me, it ended up not being finding someone who's a church member specifically, but finding someone who shared the same values as me. And we both have, kind of like you've talked about, just like these goals together, like ways we want to progress, and our purposes aligned.
All right,
So, yeah.
nice. All right. Shout out to Jaden. All right, no worries. Thank you, Amelia. Yeah, and then what about you, Jessica? What's your experience with outside, within, and within?
Definitely, like, I mean, they're similar and different in every way. I've had great experiences dating LDS people. I've had great experience dating non-LDS people. I will say, like, in my stage of life right now, I do prefer dating non-LDS. I can't really tell you exactly why. I have really enjoyed like the people that I've gone on dates with recently. Um, not that they not that anything has really progressed in a way, but it was kind of nice. Like it's nice to connect with somebody that doesn't have and I don't want to say it's like trauma from the church or anything, but just like has grown up in a different way than me, and that's not our identity is just in the church, and talking about other things about life and like where we want to go in life, and not having the church be the number one thing in the relationship, if that makes sense. But I don't know, like I've kind of taken a break from dating recently, um, just because it's hard. It really is hard to date, and um, it's discouraging in a way. Just trying to figure it out and get out there, and COVID made it very difficult as well. And I don't know, it's life. It's hard, and I've definitely like been taking more time to kind of date myself in a way and figuring out me and working on myself so I can be the best person for my future person. So